The dry season had choked the land for months. In the northern reaches of Kenya, the savanna cracked under a merciless sun, waterholes shrank to mud pits, and animals wandered further than they ever should in search of relief. Life had become a desperate negotiation between hunger, thirst, and survival. In the outskirts of the small town of Mariela, nestled where the savanna brushed against human settlement, people had grown used to seeing wild animals pass at a distance. Giraffes lingered at the edge of the thorn trees, baboons scouted for scraps, and at night, hyenas laughed beyond the hills. But one morning, the town awoke to something they had never seen before. A lioness stood at the edge of the main road. The arrival. It was just after sunrise when the first market stalls were being set up. Anna, a schoolteacher, was walking with a basket when she froze in her tracks. The lioness was thin, her coat dulled by dust, ribs sharp beneath her skin. She wasn't crouched in hunting posture. Instead, she walked slowly, limping, head low, tail dragging. Her right flank bore a deep wound, swollen and raw, likely from a poacher's snare or the horns of a buffalo. Flies hovered over it, and each step made her stumble. People scattered at first. Some screamed, others pulled children indoors. Motorbikes revved away in panic. Yet the lioness did not charge, did not growl. She stopped in the middle of the dusty street, turned her head toward the people, and let out a sound no one expected, a low, guttural moan, not of threat but of exhaustion. Fear and uncertainty. By mid-morning, the lioness had collapsed near the shade of a tin-roofed shop. She panted heavily, eyes half shut. A ring of townspeople formed at a distance, arguing in hurried whispers. "Call the rangers," someone shouted. "She's dangerous, we can't keep her here," another insisted. Anna, still clutching her basket, watched the animal intently. She saw not the predator of stories, but a motherly figure broken down by pain. The lioness's teeth sagged slightly, she had cubs somewhere. The thought sank heavy into her heart, this wasn't just a wounded animal, lives depended on her survival. When the local wildlife rangers arrived an hour later in a battered jeep, the lioness hadn't moved. David, the lead ranger, stepped down cautiously, rifle slung across his back but his hands empty. His partner Miriam followed with a tranquilizer kit. The crowd murmured nervously. Some urged the rangers to shoot before the animal became aggressive. Others, quieter but firm, insisted she had come for help. The approach. David knelt low, scanning the wound. "It's bad," he murmured. "Infection has set in. If she made it this far into town, she's desperate." Miriam readied a dart. "We can sedate her and treat it. But moving her here, with so many people." He nodded grimly. "We'll have to risk it. She's not here to fight." Step by step, Miriam raised the rifle and aimed. The lioness opened her eyes briefly, golden orbs dulled but aware. She did not rise, did not snarl. The dart struck her shoulder with a soft thwip. The crowd held its breath. The lioness flinched, then slumped fully to her side, breathing ragged but steady. The rescue. The rangers and a few brave townsmen worked together, carefully sliding the lioness onto a canvas stretcher. Her weight was immense despite her frailty. Flies scattered as her wound oozed faintly. They loaded her into the jeep, and Anna, to her own surprise, found herself climbing in too. David glanced at her questioningly. "She came here because she had nowhere else," Anna said quietly. "I want to see her through this." The jeep roared toward the reserve's veterinary outpost, dust trailing behind them like smoke. Treatment. At the outpost, the veterinary team acted quickly. They cleaned the wound, cutting away dead tissue, washing mud and pus from the gash. Antibiotics flowed into her veins, saline to fight dehydration. The lioness twitched under sedation, muscles rippling in unconscious pain. "She must have walked miles to reach people," one vet muttered, shaking his head. "Most lions would never dare approach." David stood at the doorway, arms crossed, eyes fixed. She didn't come to fight us. She came because she couldn't survive alone. Recovery. Days passed. The lioness remained weak, but she lived. Each morning, Miriam and Anna checked on her. Her breathing steadied, the swelling eased, and though she remained thin, her eyes grew clearer. Once, while Anna sat by the enclosure, the lioness lifted her head and stared. Not a glare, not a predator's calculation, but something else, recognition, perhaps. Anna felt her chest tighten. "She knows," Anna whispered. "She knows we helped." David, leaning against the fence, nodded slowly. Maybe she also knows she has cubs to get back to. The search. 2 weeks later, once the lioness could stand, the rangers decided to release her near the place she likely came from. Before the truck rolled out, Anna pressed her hand against the crate's bars. The lioness rumbled softly, a low vibration that seemed almost like gratitude. They drove for hours into the savannah, following reports of lion activity. When they finally opened the crate, the lioness stepped out shakily, paused, and sniffed the air. She looked back once, at the humans who had carried her through death's shadow, and then padded away into the tall grass. But her story wasn't finished. Reunion. 2 days later, scouts reported movement near the same area. David and Miriam returned, and with binoculars, they saw her, the lioness, thinner but strong enough now to move with purpose. And with her, 3 small cubs, tumbling at her feet. The sight stilled them both. David lowered the binoculars, his voice hushed. She made it back to them. Anna heard the news later and wept quietly, a mixture of relief and awe. Epilogue. In Mariela, the story of the lioness spread quickly. Children asked their parents to retell it at night, shopkeepers pointed at the road where she had first appeared, and elders shook their heads at the wonder of it all. A wild lioness had walked into a human town, not as a predator, but as a plea for mercy. And mercy had been given. The savannah remained harsh, life remained dangerous, but for one wounded lioness and her cubs, the boundary between wild and human had, for a moment, blurred, and in that space, compassion had saved her. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next episodes.